Hi, Michael. You've been appointed as head coach at the end of the season. There's no mention of interim or caretaker. Have there been any discussions with you and the people here regarding a role beyond this season?
No, not at the moment. I think we're realistic as well, you know, and where we are at the moment, why I'm here and the role I've got to do. And that doesn't change how we go about it in the day-to-day and the focus, you know, and making decisions for the long-term kind of strategy of the group and the playing squad and whatever that kind of adds on extra in the layers after that. I think I'm certainly not coming in thinking it's a time where week to week, game to game, we got to get through it and we got to tick each one off. I think we want to plan to improve and improve beyond this season, you know, and however that looks at this moment, it's all I can control is what we give the players and how we kind of create the atmosphere around the group. So that's the main focus, and then we'll see what happens after that.
You said to NUTV on Wednesday how much this club means to you. I think all of us know how much this club means to you. If the chance came to carry on at the end of this season, would you be interested in doing that?
Listen, I'm here because I enjoy the role, and you know I wanted to do it, and I'm hugely privileged to be in this position. So that's kind of where I am. You know, it doesn't change whatever the term or whatever the length. You know, I'm here to do my best, and hopefully I've got a lot of experience of what it takes and where we need to get to, and I'll try and help with that.
Taryn.
Hi, Michael. You were here obviously four and a bit years ago now in a similar role, albeit a short term. I think to a lot of fans, the kind of wider picture of the club feels the same. Feels like no progress has been made. There's been managers come and go since then. There's partly new ownership in. The fans are still protesting against them. I know your role's short term here, but how do you go about uniting a club where it kind of feels that everyone's on a different page at the moment? And I think to the fans it kind of feels a bit soulless and going nowhere. How can you kind of make an influence on that and bring everyone together?
Yeah, well, I certainly don't think it's soulless. I think there's a magic around this place. I feel it. I feel it home straight away, coming into the building, coming in and around it. I've obviously been around it for quite some time, but and then missed a little window. But I think there's a magic around this place. You can't help but feel that. Results and sometimes from the outside things look a little bit different, but it certainly doesn't feel majorly different on the inside. I have to say that, and then listen, part of my role and the responsibility is shaping what we want to look like going forward as a group, and yeah, what happens on the pitch and the tactical side and the performances is one thing, but certainly the culture as well, and how we think, how we act, how we behave, what it means to us to be here. That's something that is part of my responsibility to spread in the right way.
Hi Michael, when we spoke to Darren on Sunday, he was talking about the players feeling a little fragile in terms of their confidence at the moment. What have you and your staff done this week to try and rebuild that confidence?
Yeah, well, obviously I think a lot of confidence comes from it's funny confidence actually, because you can sometimes get it from a little kind of moment, or you can get a little situation, all of a sudden it kind of sparks you, and that's sport, top level sport, you know. We've seen it throughout in every sport, you know. It's when you're confident and you're in the zone and everything kind of happens a little bit slower, but everything's really clear and you're calm, and I think sometimes when you want something so much and you're so desperate that you can almost over try, and it over affects you at times. So there's that, is getting the balance of that, and listen, we're here to support the players, you know. We're here to help them, and we're here to improve them, and we're there by the side to get them through it, and hopefully they felt that over the last few days. And listen, we've had 3 days to prepare for the game, but we feel we're in a good place, and everyone's looking forward to it.
Michael, the team you inherited from Ruben really struggled to put any sort of winning runs together. I think there was only when they beat Liverpool, Sunderland in Brighton in the October. It's the only time they've ever won back-to-back games in the Premier League. How are you going to go about sort of tackling that? Because obviously the challenge is to get to Europe. You're going to need to win some games, but the team has not shown itself capable of sustaining sort of winning runs. How important is it, and how are you going to tackle that?
Yeah, it's a fresh start, you know, and I've got a lot of belief in the group, and individually and collectively I've got a lot of belief in that, and as I've just said, confidence and a feeling, and things can go in a different direction very quickly. And I've got a lot of belief in the boys, and you know, I'm not going to tell you everything about how we're going to do it, because I'll be a bit silly to do that. But I think tactically and as a team, what we want to look like, and things that we feel can help us, and be hugely positive, you know, and what we can achieve, I think, is it half full, half empty, you know, and so many times it gets what players can't do or the team can't do, but actually forget what they can do, what they're good at, and believe in that, and work on the strengths and feed off that, and feed that energy to make you better. You know, there's a lot of players and a lot of teams in the world that can't do things, but that doesn't stop them being successful. So we need to find that ingredient, and I fully believe we can do that.
Let's go Rob and then Jamie.
Hi, Michael. You just mentioned the word culture then before. Lots of managers come in and talk about, and they use that word, and often we talk about the culture that you had as a player and the team under Sir Alex. I know you've only been here a short time, but what have you made of the culture here? Do you think it's an issue that maybe needs to be addressed? I mean, how do you kind of go about doing that?
No, listen, I've been back in this role for 3 days, and there's nothing that I've looked at and that's really red flagged anything. I have to say, it's been the players have been really good, willing to listen, willing to learn, wanting to do better for the club, wanting to put better performances in. That's the feeling I've got. The support staff and everyone's desperate to do well, as I've just said, and we need to channel that. And of course, listen, the culture is something that it's what happens day to day. You know, it's not something I sit here and talk about and a few words here and there, and it makes it sound good. It's how you behave and what you end up doing day to day. So that's something we got to build. But certainly at the moment, I feel it's a good place, and the training ground's been a really good place. And we need to make Old Trafford tomorrow an even better place, and with the help of the supporters as well. And that's the magic of what we're trying to do.
Jamie.
Michael, given this is Manchester United, you've got 17 games left of the Premier League, you're not in any other competition, you know what the club's all about. Would it be a failure not to qualify for the Champions League? Would you feel personally I failed there?
I think we've got to be careful about what's a success and what's a failure in terms of so cleanly like that. I think it's not as clear cut as that. I think success is building and improving, you know, and there's no getting away from the fact that this club should be there. But we can talk all day about where you should be, but it's where you how you're going to get there. What you got to earn it, you know, and you got to prove that you're good enough to get there. So that's the challenge for us, and it always has been that. And that doesn't change. It doesn't change the motivation, doesn't change the drive, and it doesn't change the expectation. And it shouldn't change the expectation. Certainly, there's a bit of realism from me, but I'm definitely not going in. It's all or nothing. But we need to improve, and we need to keep up the league.
Is that not an ideal carrot though for these players? Look, you could really rescue this season here and get Champions League football, because I think everyone in this room and watching from the outside would say, that's a bit of a result considering all the turmoil.
No, that's what there's a lot to play for, you know, and there's a huge encouragement, there's a huge positivity from me and around the group that and I know it's the league we've got to focus on, and but it's a carrot, of course it is, but it doesn't mean it's all or nothing. That's the thing. It doesn't have to be so extreme, you know. When we need to build and we need to take steps, and I'm not here to say everything's going to be perfect, but it's that's not realistic either. But we'll take small steps, and we need to keep going in that direction.
Just before, I want to completely respect your record in the Championship in Middlesbrough. You've only managed at this level for 3 games. Very successful when you did that. I think 2 wins and a draw. What makes you very confident that you can handle this job? Because it's Manchester United, and you've not really had the length or the breadth of experience you're about to have. The number of games.
I've never really thought about it like that. I just feel comfortable. I feel at home. Not comfortable in the fact where it's nice and everything's great. It's comfortable in the fact that I'm happy in my skin, happy in this role. I know what it takes. I've worked closely with Jose and Ollie for some time. So when I took over, it felt quite a natural step. I understand the questions, and that's how it is. You always question until you achieve something. So that's how it is, you know. But all I can say is I feel at home. I feel I'm ready, and really looking forward to getting to work.
Last question for Laurie.
Hi Michael. The end of the previous head coach's reign, Ruben, certainly ended in some tension with the hierarchy, with Jason, I think, over systems and selections, should we say. What's your thoughts on your role now as head coach in terms of selections, and have you had any conversations around the type of team that they want to see?
Nothing different to any other team in terms of putting players on the pitch that we think will fit in a good balance, and depending what game, who we're playing against, what it looks like, where's our strength. That's it, that's on me and my coaches and the staff to put that together. I'm flexible at times, as I said, we've been in here 3 days, so it's a big game, playing against a tough team, obviously, a very good team, playing well, so there's challenges within that, but it's obviously up to me and my staff to find that formula.
Harry, one of the last things Darren Fletcher said after that cup defeat last week was that you need to step up to the plate, don't waste any time now. 17 games remaining, which is crazy when you think of the amount of times and seasons that United have had with the amount of games that they've played. But with just 17 to go, how do you go about navigating your way through those to try and get some success at the end of the season?
Yeah, obviously it's been a difficult period. I think we had a great run of fixtures, what everyone can look at on paper, and we probably expected more points. Well, not probably. We should have got more points than what we've had over the last 8 weeks or so. But we are still in a position where we can challenge for Europe, and there's still a long way to go in the season. We're just over halfway in the Premier League season, so lots of points to play for, and the lads now have got to take responsibility, galvanise together, and make sure we look to the future rather than the past.
In a way, it is a clean slate, though, because of the amount of games you have left now this season. You know exactly what you've got to do and what you want to achieve. Yeah, definitely. Of course, it's going to be a big finish from us. We know that we need to improve performance-wise, because at the end of the day, I'm a big believer that over a period of time, performance does get you results, and we've got to make sure we've got to improve them performances to make sure that the results become a lot more consistent. One of the other things Darren Fletcher said, before we move on to Michael Carrick, and the new team that's in place now for the remainder of this season, is that difficult times, you get to see the real characters of those involved. Now, we know that you've shown great resilience and great character in the times that you've had that maybe haven't been as good as you wanted them to. Has the team got the characters to do this? Yeah, I believe so, but I think that's a true statement. I think in these difficult moments, you see the big players, you see the characters come out and play with freedom and express themselves on the pitch and take responsibility and leadership, and yeah, I think that's so big in a team, because especially when you play for a team like ours, you know that there's going to be ups and downs, and it's the downs where you've got to act, and you've got to perform, you've got to stand up and be there when counted, and I feel like we've got big senior players and a lot of characters in this team that we can go and do that. This leadership group that you're in, without revealing too much, what's it said this week? Yeah, of course, it's like I said, it's just looking forward to the future. It's looking forward to each game. We've got big games from now to the end of the season, not many games like you've said, so we can prepare and focus on them. There's no excuses. We've got to take responsibility ourselves. We've got to take responsibility within the squad, within the leadership group. Ultimately, when a manager goes and the manager gets a lot of the stick, but it's ultimately down to the players that haven't performed well enough, so we've got to take a huge part of the responsibility of that. What's it been like on the grass this week then, in the short time that you've had to work with Michael Carrick and his new coaching team, and Steve Holland as well? Yeah, really impressed. Obviously I knew Carrick from before, and I spoke really highly of him. He was a magnificent coach when he was here under Ollie. He's got great ideas, he speaks really well, tactically he's really good. And obviously now he's had a lot of experience at Middlesbrough as a manager, and I'm sure he's going to come in here and implement his ideas. And he's a legend of the club, and I'm sure the fans will get right behind him. But yeah, I must say, with him and all his coaching staff, I've been really impressed this week. Take us then to the grass, to the training pitch. What differences, if there have been any, or what are those couple of days that you've worked with him been like? Yeah, I think we hadn't had much time on the grass, but obviously we have had a couple of sessions, and yeah, I think he's trying to bring new energy, new ideas.
without drilling us too much at this moment tactically. I think he just wants to bring the energy back in the building, and I think that's so important. Obviously this club is scrutinised, a lot of eyes on it all the time, analysed, and a lot of people can lose a little bit of energy within that. And Michael's played here, he's obviously performed in unbelievable teams, and he's been a magnificent player, so he knows what it's like to win here, and what you need in a team, in a group of people, in a group of staff. And I feel like he's brought a lot of energy to this week, and I think the players have bought into it.
What do you mean by energy? Because energy could be so many different things. Is it confidence? Is it humour? Is it mischief? Is it what is it? Bringing maybe an element of taking the pressure off you as players and trying to let you enjoy what's going on?
Yeah, of course. I think that's a big part of it. I think that one of his big things in his first meeting was, we need to enjoy it. We play for Manchester United, one of the biggest clubs in the world. You should all feel privileged, you should all feel honoured. You should all enjoy it. This is what you've worked towards your whole career. And I think when you enjoy it, it brings energy. But of course, obviously confidence has a part to play. And when you're down in confidence and low in confidence, your body language can go, and the fans can think you're not working hard and things like that. But it all comes together, and it's a big word that is used, and I firmly believe that we need to bring more energy to this place and make the lads go and feel comfortable on the pitch.
And Steve Holland, you obviously know him well. I know a little bit about him from his early career and his early time out at Crewe Alexandra, and then he's moved on to bigger and better things and greater things as well, what with England. He's the kind of person that I think would look after the dressing room quite well. He's got a little bit old school about him. Would that be a fair reflection?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's a great appointment, of course. I think obviously Michael's a bit of a younger manager with upcoming fresh ideas, and then you've got Steve, who's been around and really experienced. He was magnificent for England. I worked with him for 6-7 years at England, and he was magnificent. He drilled us all really well. We all knew what we was doing. We defended really well, and I think it's a real good appointment. He has a great record where he's been, his clubs, and obviously with England as well. And I'm sure he's going to come in here and try and implement his ideas, and the boys, I'm sure, will show full respect, because of course what he's done in his career is great.
What's the biggest thing that you feel he will do here with Steve?
Well, I've spoke about it a lot this year. I think both boxes, I think we've been really poor. We haven't defended our box well at all this year. Conceded far too many soft goals, and I can remember a lot of time working with Steve, and obviously being a defender myself, and he really does drill in tactically how to defend, tactically how to keep the ball out of the back of the net. Basics really, but really disciplined basics, and I feel like he's going to have a big part to play in making our defensive record a lot better, because box to box this year, I feel like we've been comfortable and dominated a lot of football matches, but when you're conceding 1, 2, 3 goals every game from not many chances really, it gives yourself an uphill task to go and win the football match. So yeah, I'm sure that's going to be the main difference that I feel as a defender, and it's something where I've spoke about this year that we need to improve massively. Well,
those games are coming up now, and they were always there. Manchester City and Arsenal, two of the biggest teams that you could come up against in any season. But after a reset moment, another reset moment like this, just how big are they?
Well, every game's massive really, but obviously when you're playing a Manchester derby, everything just ramps up a little bit more.
After the week that you've just had as well? Yeah,
definitely. I think it's a great game to play though. I think obviously we're playing the best two teams in the country at the moment. Arsenal at the top and Manchester City are second, and yeah, we know it's going to be a tough game, two very good teams, but obviously we're looking forward to the next one, which is Manchester City, and we've prepared well. And listen, these are the games that you want to play in as a footballer. When you're a young lad and you dream of playing football, you want to play in a Manchester derby, and this is the opportunity that we have to go and turn it around and put on a big performance for our fans.
I just wonder, you used that word privilege earlier in the interview, and you used the word privilege when you joined Manchester United, the privilege of playing for this club. Is it still a privilege? Just a bigger privilege for you?
Yeah, definitely. It's a massive privilege for me. I really enjoy playing for this club. I really enjoy the challenges that come with it.
They have been challenging.
Yeah, of course. When you play for this club, there's loads of challenges. I'm sure you could speak to all the lads who was successful here 15 years ago, and they probably had lots of different challenges then as well. So it's part and parcel of playing for this club. And I think what we need to get is make sure that all the lads in the dressing room really enjoy playing for this club, because, like I said, enjoyment brings energy, and that's what we need to make this club successful. And
show that as well for the remaining games of this season. And at the end of the season, we know what your situation's like at the moment, but there is a World Cup coming as well. Have you thought beyond that yet?
No,
I know there's been a lot going on.
No, there's too much going on, to be honest. I'm comfortable where I am. Obviously, I've been out injured in the last few weeks, so I've just been focusing on getting back fit and obviously helping the team. It's been disappointing being sat watching the games when I know I could have made a difference and helped the team in those moments where it was difficult. So no, I've just been focusing on getting myself back fit, getting myself back playing, and it'll look after itself the future.
You go again.
And we go again.
They've had a couple of major injuries this season in terms of the back four as well, and Rodri. So let's see. I want United to win tomorrow. As simple as that.
Of course, yeah, of course.
And I don't want to. You have to be.
It'd be weird if you said anything else.
I have to be respectful towards City. Of course, they have a fantastic team, an amazing manager, one of the greatest managers ever. But after tomorrow.
Rob, do you think they've seen gettable, let's say? There's been City teams of past where it's like it's obliteration. This year there seems to be a little bit of difference.
You're looking at the games, how they manage the games, and that was a wonderful ability in the years gone by, isn't it? That you just didn't see a way back into games when they bored everyone to win the Champions League and stuff. They just controlled the games. You play against teams like that, you go, I haven't got an answer here. I don't know how to get out of this hole against them. And whether you could do that or not was another matter. But with this team, you say, well, hold on a minute. We stay in there. We stay in the fight. We just grind it out. And whereas they'd be 2-3-0 up and bringing on the subs for the next game, managing the game, it's not like that now. It's just still a scrap. It's still a fight in the last 5-10 minutes, and they seem to blow themselves out a bit. So it's very much a different side.
Do you think? Go ahead.
No, the Brighton game was interesting. I've never seen City being so vulnerable for such a long time. And Brighton they're very good manager, very good team, and Brighton kind of gives you a little glimpse of what they're capable of doing. If it's so open, they play through City, and it's the first time I've seen a team play against City the City way, the Pep style, playing total football. And if United can do that in terms of maintaining that and be disciplined in terms of defending, going forward, United will always create chances, but you got to make sure you're ruthless in your defence. If you're not, you can get punished.
Yeah, I mean, teams have been getting punished with Erling Haaland, but one of the other top goal scorers in the league was Antoine Semenyo. That was for Bournemouth. Now he's going to be wearing a City shirt against United tomorrow. When you look at the Semenyo signing, I mean, look at this. Pep was very keen to say that he had scored 3 goals in his City career thus far, even though obviously 2 only stood. When you look at this, Quinton, is this an inspired move, or... I mean, I don't want to say is it throwing money at the problem, but they did have an issue where all the goals were only coming through Haaland.
This guy can score goals. This guy can create goals. When you look at the play, you think, okay, what is it like from this? His manager after his last game, I think he scored the winning goal. His manager, it just sums up what they thought about him. His manager said, as a human being, first of all, he's amazing. That's what, as a coach, as a manager, you want to hear that, thinking, okay, what's the player like? His manager said, as a human being, he was amazing. As a player, fantastic. For me, boom. That's the first thing you want to hear as a manager. But as a player, oh my! I wish I was wearing a red jersey. Yeah. Honestly, that's my honest truth. I wish he was on the red side. But what a player! Can go left and right. You saw the goal at Old Trafford he scored against United. Explosive 1v1. Can create chances. And at top, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
It's a no-brainer.
The dangerous thing as well is that he started his kind of Manchester City career. Obviously, they played against Exeter. He started on the left. Then he played against Newcastle. He was playing on the right with Doku on the other side.
Yeah.
I mean, now there's no excuse, I guess, for City to start banging in those goals from other places, right, Rob?
Well, you're looking at him and thinking, how do we utilise him? And however you want. It's a wonderful tool for Pep to have. And you're thinking, oh, Doku plays better when people are close to him, someone to bounce off and some to create different passes, different angles. You can leave him on his own, and he'll do something for you. And whether it's direct or coming inside, he does it at different stages up the pitch. When he goes really high, he says, right, I'm going to go out there on the outside. And when his teammates understand, and know what he can do, all of a sudden it's going to get better and better. So it's one that you're thinking, it's great to start. It could get even better.
Quinton, there's something that I guess you are the perfect person to answer this. Obviously, you came into that Manchester United side, after a treble win.
Yeah, they brought me to improve the team.
Yeah, no, but you know that feeling, but it's true though, because Antoine will be going into Manchester City and surrounded by Ballon d'Or winner, the best striker in the world, players that have gone out there and won something. How would that have felt for him walking into that dressing room?
He would, of course, with his mentality, you've seen, he settled in very well. But you got to go in there, not with an ego. You got to have self-belief. Otherwise, they won't sign him. He won't be there playing in the Premier League for City. But you've got to go in there self-belief. And he's playing with world-class players. He can only get better. He's got one of the best managers in the history of the game who's going to improve him. He's only going to get better. But you got to go in there with, okay, I'm here and playing with great players, but I'm myself a great player.
Is that what you did when you went into that side?
No.
Why? What was your first day like? Did you walk in?
I worked my way up a little bit. I looked around the change room, saw Ricky, some gigs, was cozy. I thought to myself, okay, just calm down. Breathe, take your time, but it's different. Every player is different. I just worked my way. I had the mentality of, I don't care where I play. I just want to play. If the manager asked me, the boss asked me to play left back this week, central midfield, left wing, I didn't care. I just wanted to play for Manchester United.
Well, Manchester United are preparing to take on City tomorrow. We're wondering what Michael Carrick's Man United will look like. We asked our resident Tactico Pythagoras in Boots to look at what we can expect from Carrick ball and who could be the winners and losers in the post-Amorim era.
Over the course of Carrick's 3 seasons at Middlesbrough, they ranked consistently first or second for goals, shots on target, possession. So statistically, Carrick was a very effective championship coach. Now, from a tactical perspective, Borough built up in a back three with one full-back.
The last time we were on Team Talks, Ruben Amorim was very much in charge of Manchester United, and then that all changed very quickly. Michael Carrick's at the wheel. How do Man United fans feel?
Honestly, I was just saying to Miguel before, I feel really disappointed at where the football club has gone. I'll back Michael Carrick, Steve Holland, Jonathan Woodgate coming in. I'll back anyone that's in charge of Manchester United. But I think, I've said it many times, it doesn't matter who is in charge. It is such a difficult job. The outside noise from the media, people talk about Ruben playing a back three. Darren Fletcher comes in, he's a good mate of mine. I love the guy, plays a back four. How did that work out? If you don't have the players that can fit the system a coach is trying to play, and fundamentally, the signings and the players have not been good enough for far too long now. So, for me, there's not really much pressure on Michael Carrick because the expectations for Manchester United, I can't speak for every Man United fan, but the problems for me are the people above at Manchester United. It's not the players necessarily, it's not the ownership, it's not the manager, it's the ownership and the decisions that have been made. And when Ineos came in and Omar Barada and Jason Wilcox, I felt really optimistic. But now, I don't.
Well, Michael Carrick is going to be in charge, and his first game is going to be the Manchester Derby. He's the 8th different manager post Sir Alex Ferguson to be taking charge of United in a Manchester Derby. What a game to be starting with.
Yeah, I mean, it couldn't come bigger, really. Could have maybe other than a game against Liverpool, given the rivalry. I have to say, I mean, obviously, Carrick this week beat out his old teammate Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Did they play together? They did, actually, for a season. And that apparently came down to, I suppose, as much prospects for the future as kind of current reputation. But in relation to kind of this fixture, it's hard not to feel maybe they should have just brought in Solskjaer for one game, given he actually has an incredible record against City.
Like I said to you, don't be surprised we'll get an announcement tonight. Man United probably will.
No, I mean, I do have to say, I think it makes much more sense to go with Carrick for the medium term. I mean, one of the things I heard was, obviously this is going to have no impact on the permanent successor in the summer. But they are thinking that if we get the right interim now, maybe it can be a figure close to the club who can be trained up potentially to take the job in the future. Yeah. And obviously with Solskjaer, I suppose, I mean, we know they're not going to go back there, really. That story's been done a little bit. So it would have felt a little bit of a backward step, perhaps. And that's no real comment on Solskjaer. Whereas Carrick, at least gives maybe, it's a different feel. And he is a bright young coach. I mean, okay, he had an encouraging stint at Middlesbrough, even if it didn't end all that encouragingly. But there's promise there. I think it's really going to be interesting to see how he does over the next few months, and starting with this game tomorrow, particularly how he sets up.
You also make a very good point about the summer, because there could potentially, especially after a World Cup, be a host of top managers available.
But the thing is, though, at this moment in time, which manager really wants to come to Manchester United? Because ideally, I'd love someone like Ancelotti, right? But in a dream world, that would be my best case scenario. But you look at this club, and I was really optimistic. I thought Ruben Amorim was going to be the man that was going to turn us around. But you need quality players. And we brought in Cunha and Mbeumo. I think Mbeumo's been a fantastic signing. But other than that, I don't think Cunha's been anywhere near the levels we expected him to be at. So Thomas Tuchel could be available after the World Cup. Mauricio Pochettino could be available. But I just think, you look at the way, this is a whole other story in itself, but Real Madrid, Xabi Alonso goes, Arbeloa goes straight in there. Manchester United are thinking on their feet, aren't they? There's no real plan in place.
Well, that's it. And I suppose one of the things, had they got Solskjaer in particular, it would have just, that's where they were 5-6 years ago. When obviously, as you say, Sir Jim Ratcliffe buying the kind of minority stake was supposed to signal a new future. It seems like they keep taking backward steps. Now, I've been, obviously, as a journalist, been kind of writing on this the past 2 weeks, talking to people around the club. There is an interesting one there. Like you were mentioning about Ancelotti. And like from speaking to someone at United, they were saying, as promising as they know that Amorim was as a coach, and let's not forget, like before he joined United, everyone in Europe was looking at him from Liverpool to Barcelona. But what was put to me is, with a club like United, or of that size, you don't really know how they're going to respond until they're in the door. And now there's maybe a little bit of a feeling that for all Amorim's promise, he just maybe wasn't quite ready for a job of that magnitude, as we could see in some of the decisions. Also, one thing that has been stressed to me a lot, but only time will tell on this, is that the club feels the structure around the manager is completely different now than it was in October 2024. They feel they've got more of a structure. They've made like big appointments, and on recruitment as well. They're talking about how we won't see the effects in this for a little while yet, but they feel they've got a recruitment structure much more data-led, something like the way the best-run clubs do it in that regard.
You're giving me hope, Miguel, but I think the way that Manchester United has been run in recent years, the recruitment has been abysmal.
I do think, regardless of the structure, a club like United does actually need someone that can carry the weight of what it is. And that's why I suppose you are talking about coaches then like Tuchel. But if they go for Tuchel, I mean, he obviously wants to be in the World Cup till the 19th of July. That's quite late in the summer.